So,
Okay.
hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of You Are the Medicine. We explore transformative power of safety and personal empowerment. I'm your Jessica Chichester, and today I'm thrilled to share with you a dear friend who I met through crystals, and her name is Sherry. She has a business called Mearth Star, and she's here with us today. So Sherry is not only a crystal expert, but just like that, she's a dear friend and collaborator. Has come with us on our transformative retreats, like our journey to Ecuador that we had last year. So Sherry, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Jessica. Thank you for having me. It's
Yes,
nice,
so
nice to be here today.
it is nice to be here. And just to let everyone know that on Saturday and Sunday, May 18th and May 19th, we're having a big crystal show at Hope Healing Oasis. So Bree is coming in. She'll tell you a little bit about where she's coming from, but it's a 2-day crystal show. The times are 11, 5 o'clock. We're going to have local vendors, food trucks. It's going to be an incredible day of connection, discovery, healing, and really just connecting with crystals. So, Sherry, let's start at the beginning. Like, how did you first get involved with crystals, and what inspired you to start your own crystal business?
Quartz crystals first inspired me to be with crystals. They were the first thing that caught my attention, and I just had to have more of them. And went to Arkansas and found some and was hooked on them. They were just so exciting to me and so calming to me and so grand, the energy of them and the place. And I brought something home and showed it to friends, and everybody wanted more. So I went back and began to buy, things and resell them and make people really happy with their crystal tools.
What's amazing is when I first met you, I don't know, years ago that was now. I don't
Yeah,
know,
I don't know either, but
quite
a few.
quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I met Sherry at a crystal show, and it actually wasn't. It was at somebody's house, and she had all these beautiful crystals with her and her partner. They drove in and had these crystals, and there was this piece of quartz. This wasn't the exact piece from that day, but this was this piece of
Yep.
quartz that she had from Arkansas. Oops, sorry, something just fell. That she had gotten from Arkansas, and I immediately felt gravitated toward it. It was the exact same thing with the quartz. And I felt conflicted because I grew up loving stones and loving crystals, but part of me growing up like, oh my gosh, crystals are new age, they're bad, and I felt like coming into contact with you helped to heal that paradigm in my life. And you just gave me a different perspective on the crystals and the rocks, right? And
Yes.
yeah. So what's a little bit of your perspective? I know that was off of our questions, but like what's a little bit of your perspective on the healing nature of crystals and what they can do for somebody? How do you connect with them?
Well, I I view all the stones as part of nature, another aspect of whatever you call God or all that is Mother Nature. Um, and there's many things out there provided for us for our healing, for our healing and our growth. And it can be herbs, but it's also these stones. And they speak to me and they feel differently. Some calm, some ramp you up, some like kyanite, some help you to speak better. I was not a good speaker. Maybe I'm still not, but I'm much more comfortable now speaking to people and that happened, that came on because of wearing a piece of kyanite. And the stones, each one's different, and there are stones meant for certain people. And it's been part of my path to find these stones and connect them with individuals. And that's really what I most love about being in the crystal business.
What I'm hearing from you also is that like crystals have even kyanite that you're wearing, the Larmar that I'm wearing for my throat chakra, that they've helped you and me evolve, right? And have you seen interest in been around this community for over 40 years, gathering the stones, traveling around the country, doing shows, collecting crystals. You're part of crystal mines. Have you seen interest in crystal evolve over this 3-year time? But what significant changes have you seen in people about the stones or the, yeah?
Um, it kind of looks to me like people start with um, they start with certain stones. Sometimes they start with clear quartz, and they start with rose quartz and gentle stones that can be gentle, and they gradually move to more complex energies and more intense energies with the stones, where some stones exhibit much more intense energy. It's not to say that quartz doesn't exhibit intense energy, because it does, but it can be, quartz is one stone that can be sort of all things. It can generate, it can calm, it can uh, provide what you need when you speak to it and program it for
Mm-hmm.
what it is you want.
I
Um,
love that you mentioned that quartz can be programmed. I mean, sometimes we could think of crystals as like woo woo because there's not a lot of science behind them, but quartz is one stone that there is a lot of science behind, and it's
yes,
actually in a lot of medical devices. It's also in
well,
microwaves and watches.
our computers, so many electronics have a little bit of quartz. It's a regulator, and it can help us. Uh, it help us that way as well. Yeah.
So with that, is there a particular crystal that holds a special significance for you? And if so, can you share a story behind it?
Oh, well, quartz is the first one. The first time I went to a crystal mine, I thought I lost my keys, and I went out looking all over. Uh, it had started to rain, and I sought shelter. And then when it quit, I couldn't find my keys, and I went out looking all over for my keys everywhere I had been in this crystal mine, and I found this big individual point, about this big around, and took it back to my little truck, and there was my keys sitting on top, right in plain view. And so they sent me out to find that crystal, and it was like a generator type crystal, just gave me a lot of power and energy. It was waiting for me out there.
Hmm.
um, yeah.
I love that. It's so funny. I have a key story as well that I'm not going to share today, but somehow it's like the symbolically, like the keys led you to another key for your life, right?
Absolutely.
For additional healing and that's what the crystals do. It's kind of like whatever key you're drawn to. These are different crystals I got from Sherry, but whatever key you're drawn to, it has a significance for you, and it's unlocking some sort of something inside of you, whether you want to call it a power or resilience, a purpose, a connection. And you don't even need to really know what the stone is. It's nice to learn about it and connect with it in that way. But the stones will teach you what they are. And that's what I found. I ended up connecting with you in the crystals. I ended up learning about the crystals so rapidly and feeling like, oh my gosh, some of them helped me to breathe deeper and feeling more calm and energized. And what's the difference if I carry one or I wear one? Like these are pieces of jewelry that Sherry's going to bring with her that she makes as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. So when it
Yes.
comes to sourcing your crystals, like what criteria do you use to ensure their quality and ethical origins?
Well, let's see. Since I've been doing this for quite a while, I have managed to make contacts with certain people, sellers from other countries who I can trust um, in that respect. And in large measure, the crystals lead me to themselves. They draw my attention, whether I'm looking for a specific piece for a specific individual or just in doing my general shopping, like in Tucson for the year. It's as though they lead you around to the places you need to go and the pieces that you need to find. And that's they call to me visually. Sometimes they stick out. They look uh you know they just have a look about them that I see. That's how I find them.
Yeah, it's almost like you see their aura or their energy. And
Hmm.
I've noticed like from the different shows that you've done at HHO when we've, sat together and unpacked the crystals, you were like, for some reason, this one wanted to come here today. And I guess, it could sound really woo-woo, but if I think about it on a very 3D level, and this just came to me, I could think about how we select our clothes every day, right? We can kind of,
Yes.
it's like we have all these options. And yeah, we look at the weather outside and kind of this equation that we have to pick out our outfit. But fundamentally, when it comes down to it, it's all based on what's drawing us in that day. What activities do we have? And how do I want to present myself for those activities? What feels the best today? So I would equate that to how you or Sherry or me or anybody would choose a crystal or even a decoration for your house, right? It's
Right.
something that's calling to you. Um, and that calling doesn't have to be so deep. It's just a gravitational pull, right? We're magnetic beings.
Yes. It should be something that comes to us naturally. I think if we the more we're connected with our inner being, the more we hear that and respond to it, that calling.
You taught me that a lot when there were times that like, oh my gosh, when I first got exposed to crystals, it was like so overstimulated. And I was like this dog salivating as if there was like peanut butter everywhere. I'm like, like how a dog is. And I remember just going, is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? She's like, well, why don't you let him sit for a second? You know? Or
Right.
why don't you hold it for a second and see how that energy feels with you? Just see how it feels with you, just even physically, like how does it feel in your hands? So that's how I chose this piece. How does it feel in your hands? How does it feel when you press it? How does it feel on different parts of your body? And so like even this stone, I've worked with this a lot. It seems like it's small, and Peter loves the bigger pieces. We have them at HHO, but the smaller pieces that I have at home, which even my whole kitchen is collected with your pieces. Um, that they just speak to me even like while I'm cooking, right? They just up level my atmosphere and make me feel more joy and at ease and connected to nature, so I feel more peace.
Yay.
Yay, so
That's
thank you.
wonderful. Yes.
So last year you joined us. I can't believe it's almost been a year.
Really.
You joined us for our plant medicine trip to Ecuador. So how has that for us, the first question, so how has that influenced you going forward and even in your spiritual and professional work with the crystals?
In general, what that has done for me is opened me to more possibilities. More possibilities. Um, we become habitual. I do this, I go here, then I go there. And things are shuffling right now, and opportunities present themselves. And I've not always been aggressive about reaching out for opportunities. I've sometimes just enjoy just being here and not doing more. Do you know? like more shows or meeting new people. But I have opened myself. This has caused me to open. I would say that's, and that it involves all kinds of things. It involves all levels of awareness and, interactions with people, with things that I'm much more open to my inner guidance. I'm more open to change. Sometimes I can be very fixed. And this has helped me move from that fixed platform to reaching out more, allowing myself to, I don't know, maybe you might call it take more risks or be present more, try new things, new people, newness, change. That's what life is all about. And sometimes as we get older, it's really easy to become complacent and say, well, this is good. I'm happy here. And I am happy here. But I feel, it's still important for me to get out there and share myself, share my stones, share whatever I can bring to the table.
Your story.
Yes. One more thing about going to Arkansas. In Arkansas, I found kyanite. And kyanite opened my voice. And that was pretty huge.
Do you
really
want to talk
huge.
about that a little bit?
I went there and bought a ready-made little pendant from Brazil, a piece of kyanite. And I wore it as a single earring. And I was really a very shy person. My speech was very bound up. And I started wearing that thing. And then I moved it to my throat. And my husband said, oh, he said, that made a huge difference in you. You need to wear that more often. And so bringing it to my attention, and what I realized later, and I did wear it there, and I would, do shows and reach up and unconsciously touch my kyanite, holding it while I was speaking, answering questions. It truly helped me balance my communication. And
wow.
Yeah, so kyanite's really special.
Can you show us it?
It's blue.
Yes.
Yeah, it's lovely blue blade. This one I've worn a long time. I made this one. It gradually takes on your energy and your body oil, and it becomes even more beautiful. A lot of the stones do that. And the other stones I have on are my favorites too. That's tourmaline. My tourmaline comes in every color. So it works with all of your chakras. It clears and activates and energizes you every which way. Just a fantastic high energy, pure, clear energy stones.
Yeah. So they say when you have at home, I think you taught this to me, but at home, there's 3 stones that you should have, right? When you walk in the door. And tell me if I got this right. So it's selenite, tourmaline, and why am I blanking on it? The shiny black one. No?
Well, that could be black tourmaline. That could be onyx. It could be, yeah. I use a lot of petrified wood for grounding instead of the black stones. That's another favorite of mine, petrified wood.
I got some beautiful pieces from you of the petrified wood.
It's an awesome stone.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Last time you brought some huge pieces of petrified wood. They were gorgeous. So Sherry on the 18th and 19th is going to bring all different sizes of crystals. So, she has earrings like this that she made. These are quartz that she's wearing now, necklaces as well. But there's smaller ones. Like I got this piece of moldavite and herkimer from her. And one of our vendors made this necklace, just something different as well. So incredible. Small, medium-sized stones to bigger pieces that we have at HHO. But so that's the 18th and 19th. So make sure you put on your calendar and share with your friends. But when you were in Ecuador, Sherry, I want to go back to that for a second. Was there a certain crystal that you brought with you on this spiritual quest, this journey there that
I
helped?
brought I brought a very small piece of petrified wood for the grounding. I brought a tabular quartz. Can I show you this?
Oh,
Tabular quartz is flat, so
ah,
it's unusual. It's a tabulator. It remembers. You can program it to pick up on everything, like on a journey. I've used tabular quartz on journeys before. Program it to remember everything about that journey, because I went to Chichen Itza years ago and programmed my crystal to remember that journey, because you're there and there's a lot going on, and I have a tendency to just, I don't know. And but at home, in the safety of my home, in my meditation spot, I brought that crystal out and revisited Chichen Itza with it, and the various stories that it had for me that it remembered. Um, so I took that. That was a really important piece to take with me. And then another small, um, I actually don't have it on me, but it's not remarkable. It's about the size of the tip of my finger, and it's a little piece of Arkansas quartz that is pinkish, and
mhm.
it's very healing. And I took that for my healing, and it's in its special place right now. Um,
I remember that. Shared that with me.
you
Yeah.
know, it was a broken piece. It doesn't have a tip, but it's exquisite. It's super clear and bright with this pinkish cast, and it's just so loving, and it's so perfect for me.
And that's what I love about the crystals too, that I learned from you is like, if a piece breaks, then it's meant to break. Maybe it needs to break some of the energy that it was holding. Or even
Mhm.
a piece of jewelry, if that breaks, instead of being upset, well, then that was kind of, we exhausted that energy of that piece of jewelry or that piece, and it had to break, and it's about kind of giving it back to the earth.
Right. It might
Uh,
have been time to move on from that piece, and we
yeah.
get favorited to them, and don't want to let go.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely learned that from you. So, and it's fun because when you shop with Sherry, oh, I like that, shop with Sherry.
oh yeah, I
That
like that too.
she helps you because she is so intuitive. She helps you on this guide in terms of asking you the right questions about what your intention is. And I don't know if she could kind of like see your face. She's a sort of crystal whisperer, which makes it completely different than just going to our local shops or, on Etsy or these other platforms and just buying something. I mean, you really get to meet with a woman who has a lifetime of connection and clarity with these stones, and somebody who loves people and who literally picks the pieces that she brings for the people who come. And so everybody who shows up in that room gets this sort of one-on-one, if you will, this one-on-one mentorship and guidance into how to navigate the start of your crystal journey, whether it's just buying something for a friend or having a piece that's really going to serve to help you heal. So I appreciate that about the attention and intention that you bring to all the times that you've come to Haute Healing Oasis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's, it isn't just the people when they're there asking, then what happens is the stones begin to speak up. What about me? What, what about me? And
Yeah.
so um, it's, it gives me help in guiding them.
So, Sherry, could you share a memorable story or insight from our plant medicine trip that has stayed with you?
Um, The taking ayahuasca one night, and then the following morning, it was followed by a very transformative massage. Those two events, the ayahuasca sort of cleared out the dross and opened me to more. And then the massage cleared out another level or layer of residual dross. And just those two things opened me to so much. It was just so transformative. And it's really difficult to put it into words. But all that was that those two events just really stand out. They're linked together, having done the one and then followed quickly, shortly by the other. It was like, wow.
So it's so funny because I've actually lately, before we even scheduled this time, or maybe just subconsciously, I've been reviewing the little testimonial that you had after the quote unquote massage, because and I was thinking, there's so much benefit to doing the plant medicines and then having a shamanic somatic release,
Yes.
because the plant medicines move stuff in your consciousness, therefore transcending to your body. And then
Yes.
when you have the somatic work, the somatic shamanic work, it's moving it out of your tissues. So it's like you've been reinvented.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was so transformative for you, as in the same vein it was for me. Have you incorporated any specific practices or lessons from the trip into your crystal shows or personal routines?
Really just strive to be more connected to my inner being and to all that is, more and more and more. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who is new to working with crystals, but wants to incorporate them into their spiritual practice?
Start by grounding yourself, and asking for your guidance, and then find what is drawing you, and start with the ones that really you keep seeing the same color, or keep seeing the same stone. Start with what you're really being drawn to, and then take it home and sit with it, meditate with it, wear it. If it's a piece of jewelry, all the jewelry is meant to be tools. Sit it beside your bed at night. Some pieces of stone I put in my pillowcase and I sleep with them. They always affect my dreams. I call it the lazy woman's way to meditate, sleeping with a crystal. And just spend time with it. Ask it what it can do for you. You can read all the crystal books and they say, it does this and it does that. But what it does for you and what it does for me might be totally different than what that book says, what any of the books say, because it's there to work with you. They can be your personal piece of all that is in a pure form. Something, nobody told you. It doesn't have directions. It's just how you get it with it.
I love that.
Thank you.
What you said made me think about one of my first stories with you about a broken stone, about a broken crystal. And so I came and I saw your crystals that one day, and I got this piece of blue apatite. It's this dark blue stone. It's upstairs. It's this dark blue stone. It's really great for the throat chakra. And I felt like my throat was just cut off, but I felt that throat energy when I held it. Like I literally, just like you were explaining, I felt it in my throat. And I brought it home, and not too long after, I dropped it and it broke. And so I was trying to put it all together and it just didn't fit well, and I think I broke it again. And then I contacted you, and because of that broken stone, my connection with you grew. And I would have you ship me some things. I have a whole arsenal of crystal skulls, which is just about holding consciousness. It's nothing scary, right? We have a skull.
Right.
So like the stories that I have because of that stone and the crystals that I got from you generated so much healing. I mean, it brought so much transformation in my life. If I can share real quick, that there was this one time that I ordered several crystal skulls from Sherry, and I was just so moved by my connection with Sherry and her partner Lee that I wrote him and I wrote them a beautiful letter. And I think I can't remember exactly, but it was like the day that those crystal skulls came in, I called Sherry, and Lee, her partner, had just passed away. And I felt like these skulls, one of them actually told me its name is Lee. And it looked like if I saw Lee's skull, it looked like his skull. And that day
Nice.
I brought them to the ocean. It was I think it was a full or new moon. And I just let the water just clean them, and I connected with them. And I was just so grateful. And so you couldn't plan how that happened. Even one time with another crystal skull that I got from you, I brought it to the beach while I was doing my morning yoga. And this skull had a hole in its head. And as I was in this beach, I was at the end of my meditation, and I just felt this like orgasmic sense of God just release, like these doves come through and go through the head of the skull. And all of a sudden I heard boom. And can you believe, actually, like, it was really early in the morning, the guy on the other end of the beach in his car, God rest his soul, he killed himself.
Oh,
And I felt like that skull helped bring his energy to a higher place. That's what I saw when I saw the doves.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
whether you believe in them or not, if you feel attracted to them and attracted to something about them, they're going to help you upgrade your energy, not just for yourself, but however you desire or however they call, just like what, God rest his soul, with that gentleman. So
Okay.
what are some, with that, I want to go to our ninth question. What are the most common misconceptions about crystals that you encounter, and how do you address them during your shows?
Wow. Some people think that some people think they can only accomplish where they're going with a crystal. And
Mm,
crystals help us, like vitamins help us. But just like if you eat the right foods, you don't need vitamins. Um, I try to inform people that the crystals they do help us and they're wonderful to work with. But you don't actually have to have a crystal to accomplish what it is you want. You can use your mind. Your mind is your most valuable tool that you have, connects you with all that is. And you can connect through a crystal. And that's wonderful. That it does, they offer wonderful help to us. But you can also do that without them. It's because some people will tell you, you've got to have this one, you've got to have that one. And I don't say that, because you don't have to. But they are a wonderful tool. It's like we can walk to a lot of places, but we get cars and they take us there faster. And I'm going to keep my car, you know, and I'll keep my crystals.
yeah. I mean, I love that, Sherry, because it goes back to the premise of this entire show, which is called "You Are the Medicine." And so
Yes.
there's tools that we have around us, right? Even the tools at Healing Oasis, the tools of our food, the tools of connection. But at the end of the day, we have that medicine inside of us, and it's important to take ownership of the life force that is inside of us that we can call upon at any moment. And the crystals are there to remind us
Yes.
of our own innate powerful nature, just as the sun is, or a plant is, or our partner does for us, in a
Yes.
healthy relationship. So we are the medicine, and we are here in this 3D plane to connect with nature, ourselves, our gifts, to explore insights and a deeper understanding of our connection with the natural world. So with that, thank you so much, Sherry. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. I appreciate how you just pivoted that misconception, and that's what you have done for me and for my life, is to empower me to take ownership of the medicine that I already have. And it doesn't have to be that serious, and it doesn't always have to be that deep. It's just what we're innately drawn to.
Right. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for inviting me today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sponsoring me and having me on the 18th and 19th. I'm really looking forward to being there. I'm in the process of packing now, and many different items are like, take me, take me.
Yes,
So
well,
I'm sure
we're
it'll
so
prove to
excited
be a
to
really fun weekend.
It's going to be such a fun weekend. Make sure you come the 18th and the 19th of May from 11 to 5. We're having this beautiful crystal show and local vendors. So, and thank you to our listeners. Thank you for tuning in today. Remember that you are the medicine. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep growing. And join us next time for another episode that's going to be filled with stories and insights designed to empower you on your healing journey. Thank you so much,
Thank
Satnam.
you, everyone.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.